It was a cold winter evening in a small bustling town on the outskirts of London. The roads shimmered with the glow of holiday lights, but under a dimly lit alley, a barefoot girl stood shivering, staring at the bakery window. She couldn't have been older than 12, clad in torn clothes. Her eyes weren't just hungry, they were hollow with silent pain. Her name was Aaliyah, an orphan who had run away from a foster home that treated her more like a burden than a child. For days, she had survived on scraps, digging through trash bins behind restaurants, but today, even the bins were empty. Inside the bakery. Mrs. Edith Rowland, a wealthy, elderly woman who had recently returned to town after decades in New York, was sipping tea. She was once a world-renowned author, but had disappeared from the public eye after a personal tragedy, losing her only son in a car crash years ago. Aaliyah mustered the courage and stepped inside, her voice barely a whisper. Ma'am. Basek, Rodi Mil Jahayato. Edith looked up from her tea. Her heart twitched. Something about the girl's eyes felt deeply familiar, though she couldn't place it. Without saying a word, she ordered her chef to bring out a warm loaf, wrapped it herself, and handed it to Aaliyah along with a glass of hot milk. But Aaliyah didn't leave. She just stood there, staring at the firewood heater, as if she had forgotten what warmth felt like. Edith spoke gently. Come here, child, sit, eat. And for the first time in weeks, Aaliyah sat at a table like a human being. Over the next few days, Aaliyah came again, not to beg, but to listen. Edith would talk, sometimes about her son, sometimes about books she once wrote. Aaliyah, in return, would share little things, how she loved stories, how she dreamed of becoming someone important, how she had memorized words from pages she found in the trash. Then came the day the authorities found her. Someone had reported a street child seen regularly at the cafe. They tried to take her back, but Edith intervened. I'll foster her, she declared. The town was stunned. Why would a millionaire author adopt a homeless girl? Because, as Edith would later explain, when she asked me for bread, she wasn't just hungry for food. She was hungry for dignity. And I saw in her eyes something I thought I'd lost forever. Purpose. As Aaliyah moved into Edith's warm mansion, she wasn't just offered shelter. She was enrolled in school, given her own library, and most importantly believed in *. But what Edith didn't know was that Aaliyah had a secret, one she hadn't shared with anyone. And as her past threatened to catch up with her, the foundation of her new life trembled. Aaliyah had always been smart, too smart for the streets. What she hadn't revealed was how she ended up in that town. Months earlier, she had escaped from a group of dangerous men who trafficked children into begging rings. She wasn't just a lost orphan, she was a fugitive, and if caught, she feared she'd be silenced forever. But things were different now. She had found a home, a purpose, a mentor. Under Edith's care, Aaliyah blossomed. She devoured books, began writing short stories, and even won a local writing competition anonymously. When the organizers discovered she was the author, and also the same street girl from local headlines, the town was stunned again. But the media attention brought with it danger. The men from her past saw her on TV, and one night, Aaliyah disappeared. Edith was devastated. For hours she waited, called the police, and feared the worst. But she also remembered Aaliyah's stories, subtle clues she used to drop about a locked shed, a railway track, a red mailbox near the town's edge, and that's where she found her. Terrified, bruised, but alive, hiding behind the mailbox with nothing but a notebook clutched to her chest. She had escaped again, barely. This time, Edith didn't just foster her, she adopted her, and when asked why, she smiled and said, because she gave me a reason to live again. Years passed. Aaliyah went on to become a best-selling author. Her debut novel, The Girl Who Asked for Bread, became a global phenomenon. She used her fame and wealth to fund shelters for runaway children, create awareness about child trafficking, and advocate for the rights of orphans globally. At the launch of her third book in New York. With millions watching, she said, the world saw me as a beggar, but one woman saw me as a human. She gave me bread, but what she really gave me was the belief that I mattered. Kindness doesn't have to come wrapped in grand gestures. Sometimes, it's a warm loaf of bread and a listening heart. One act of compassion can set a soul free and change not one life but generations to come. Because sometimes, when someone asks for bread, what they really need is love.